Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome live to the North Star Network for this Westhill and Cicero-North Syracuse North Stars girls lacrosse matchup. Coming into this game, Westhill comes in 10-2, 10-game win streak, Rob. Only 2 games first this season against West Genesee and Baldwinsville.
Yeah, Owen, Westhill, they've been on a run, and it's been quite insane. They lost their first 2 games of the season, but since then they flipped the switch, and they've just been running through teams. In their last game, they won 14-7 against Marcellus, and they've just been absolutely dominant. They're undefeated in their league, whereas CNS, they've struggled. They're kind of a streaky team. They'll win a couple games, and then they'll lose a couple games. You know, back and forward they go. We will make sure to tune right back in after the national anthem and starting lineups, where we'll send it down to our third member of the team, Drew Matiasik.
All those who make tonight's contest possible, especially our officials. The Cicero-North Syracuse School District asks everyone to be loud, be proud, and be positive. Please let the players play the coaches coach and the officials officiate. We welcome our guests from Westhill, along with everyone watching you take remotely, and with all the participants good luck in tonight's game. And it's time to get the clock over your head. You should put your right hand over your heart for the singing of our national anthem. We're pleased to have a recording of CNS High School Voice singing our anthem tonight. And now, the starting lineup. First from the Westhill Warriors. Senior, Caroline Simpo. Junior, Northern A. Lowry. Senior, Northern Grace Woodward. Freshman, number 7, Aiden Stowers. Freshman, number 10, Kara Rosenberger. Sophomore, number 11, Rosemary Mahoney. Senior, number 12, Nikki Albert. Junior, number 13, Carly Tillow. Sophomore, number 17, Bridget Allen. Senior, number 22, Marissa Rosati. Senior, number 3, Kiana Zuckerlo. And starting one of the Warriors, senior, number 9, Freddie Argentieri. The Warriors will have head coach by Cicero North and North Star fans to come on, starting up. Turning 10, senior, number 8, Cicero. Junior, number 7, Shane Fry. midfield, senior number 2, Tori Ayani. Senior number 14, Sam Clyde. Sophomore number 22, Brooke Moshanoff. Freshman number 27, Gabby Potter. Senior number 10, Mira Lieberman. Sophomore number 11, Gabriella Pauly. Senior number 16, Allison Cole. Senior number 18, Molly McCrack. Stepping over North Side, junior number 30, Nicole Miller. Our Sonoma head coach, Stephanie Preston, assistant graduate, Everett Todd.
Thank you to our PA announcer there, Daryl Whiteford, letting the national anthem play, announcing the starting lineups for both Westhill and the Cicero-North Syracuse North Stars. And now, Rob, it'd be a great time to send it down to our sideline reporter, Drew Madiasik, as he's on the sideline for tonight's game.
You can already tell just from the sidelines here, Westhill has a lot more depth out here than CNS. I mean, there's only about 4 or 5 on the sideline here for CNS. This is a 40-team roster for women's lacrosse. They have a lot of depth, and they have a good offense. They're top in their section. CNS is having a tough time. They're struggling in the SCAC Metro. This is a tough time for them, but they're both offensively capable teams. It's going to be a good matchup tonight here at Michael J. Bragman Stadium.
Thanks, Drew. And you mentioned the squad size for Westhill. They have 17 more players than CNS. CNS having 21 girls on their roster. Westhill having 38. 9 seniors, 6 juniors, 15 sophomores, and 8 freshmen that composes of. So they're definitely a team with a lot of depth. And in those later minutes, when girls start to get tired, they always have fresh legs to put in. So that's what makes them a dangerous team because, quite frankly, they don't get tired. When you have 40 girls on a roster, you can just rotate the whole game and just always have fresh legs out there. So that's a big advantage of theirs coming up against CNS. But Westhill's disadvantage is the only 2 times they have played Section 3 SCAC Metro teams. They played Baldwinsville and West Jenny. They lost both those games. That's where their 2 losses come from. This is the 3rd team in the SCAC Metro that they're playing. Hopefully they can turn the tide. But CNS looking to get another win and move their record to 8-6.
Some players to watch on Westhill. You have Grace Winkler. She's going to UConn. She has 48 points. That's 42 goals and 6 assists. And for the North Stars, they lost a close one to Irondequoit. They came back, but Irondequoit really ruled the second half. But Gabby Putman, the freshman, really shined at the end of that game.
As Molchanoff's going to open it out after the Putman draw win. Taking things a little slow to start here. Get it to Ayanati. Over to Sophia Neshi on X.
Sophia Neshi's been a breakout player recently.
She's going to hit the deck. Their whistle will be blown, so she should get a shot from the 8 here, Rob.
Yeah, I think it will be from the X, actually, just because she wasn't in that opening circle. I don't know what the word for it would be called, that arc that's right in front of the crease. She wasn't in it, so it will be taken out from the side. It's a rough angle to shoot from. Probably 5-hole here, I'd have to say, Owen. That's really the best angle you have. Keep in mind, Westhill's goalie is going to northeastern or western? One of the
Western. She takes a shot to the deck. It's going to be Westhill ball going the other way.
Yeah, Rob. Westhill head coach Bob Elmer said she's going to Northwestern in Evanston, Illinois.
That's basically Chicago. As Westhill taken away by Sophia Neshi. She's got nothing much but daylight in front of her. Gonna head around X. Finds Sam Klein inside. They went for the alley-oop play, unable to go. And that one is recovered there by Bridget Allen.
There must have been a miscommunication on the Westhill defense there. Sam Klein was just found with a ton of room. No one near.
That sparked from Franny Argentieri going around to the opposite side of X, leaving the goal wide open. She's able to get back there quickly on her feet to go the opposite way. Mahoney gets it over to Winkler. That's swung to Rosenberger. So here's Sampo going around X. Gets it to Zerillo. Get it back there to Winkler. Back to Sampo. This is Lowry. Lowry spins to her left hand. To back towards X.
Keep your eyes on Winkler tonight. 42 goals and 6 assists on the season. She leads this Westhill team in points and goals. Really, their goal scorer, they just feed her all night. So watch her on offense.
As they make a move by. CNS defense doing a great job. Sam Klein especially guarding Mahoney there. Ball poked loose. Able to recuperate it there is Lowry. Whistle's going to be blown. It's going to be on the North Stars, so it looks like they'll get us to 10 from the 8 here for Westhill. Take a shot from the 8. That one looks like it's saved there by Nicole Mira.
Nicole Mira, who's on a great run of form. The past 4 games, she has been absolutely dominant in net, and she looks to continue that today. Mira Lieberman doing a good job to get out of that ride from Westhill.
Yeah, this North Stars defense as of late has been nothing but spectacular. They'd almost just struggle to play because they're playing so much defense in the past few games where it's hard to play good defense for a full 50 minutes.
That's what we saw last game against Irondequoit, especially since the North Stars were a woman down for the most of the second half because of a penalty. They struggled because they play defense so much.
Yeah, as North Star ball goes off that backside, it's going to stick with CNS.
I did speak to CNS senior captain Molly McGrath, and I said, you had a tough game against Irondequoit. How are you bouncing back? She said, we're all looking to build off of the momentum from the end of the game. Well, it didn't end in our favor. We came close to pulling off a nearly impossible comeback in the second half, so we're all looking to continue on with that energy, grit, and mindset.
Brooke Molchanoff fires. That's right into the net there of Franny Argentieri, and West Hill's going to go back the other way after 2 back-to-back great defensive stands.
Anyone know the mascot for Westhill? They're the Westhill Warriors.
As that ball is passed over there to Sampo. Now over to Zerillo. Lowry couldn't get anything going. She takes it deeper out. Things that get over to Zerillo.
Oh, and I'm just noticing the teams, they switched their jersey colors on us, kind of messing with me. Seeing us wearing white, whereas Westhill's in blue, so I'm just going to change the color on that real quick.
Not a bad idea there. Bless you, Rob. As Lowry going around X. Gets it outside to Zerillo. Now they're taking things nice and slow here, looking for the open lane as Rosenberger going in on McGrath. Drew the double team. Gets it over towards X, towards Sampo. Now this is Lowry. Lowry picked up by Allie Cole. Swings over to Winkler. She falls to the ground to stay with it. No, poked out of the stick by Molchanoff. Here comes North Stars the other way.
Beautiful job by Brooke Molchanoff to just stay tight on her girl and get that defense. Beautiful job.
Would be pretty funny to see if Semino ends up guarding Winkler at any point tonight, as they are both committed to UConn. Winkler there for the class of 26 and Semino there for the class of 27.
And Tori Ayanati with a dangerous 8-meter now. She's right in front of the goal. I wouldn't be surprised if she scores here, Owen.
Might take a step or two and fire right down the pipe. She fires. That's bottom right corner past those ankles there of Argentieri. And that's North Star's first goal of the evening. Tori Ayanati from the 8-meter.
And keep in mind, this Westhill team, they don't give up many goals. Only 7 goals allowed per game, scoring 14 per game. Whereas CNS, they score 11 per game and give up 10 per game. So CNS really just wants to keep Westhill under 10, and Westhill just trying to keep CNS under 7. That way they can win this game.
That's Ayanati's 13th goal of the season. That was a great 8-meter by her.
There's another draw will be taken here by Gabby Putman. This could be a big one. Get some momentum building for CNS. Something they struggled with started off that second half against Irondequoit and closing the first half as well.
I agree, and CNS definitely a team that when they get hot, they are on. I mean, we saw them playing a girl down, and they still scored like 8 goals without having that player just because they started scoring and they started getting their momentum running. So once the CNS team gets hot, there's very little that can actually cool them off. Yeah, it's just getting hot, which is the question.
That draw was flipped directly to the stick of Shea Firth. Malchinov swings opposite side to Pauline. This will now be Neshi. Back to the top is Putman. Left side Firth. Top of the key Malchinov. Malchinov, someone who notched her 100th career goal on North Stars Varsity Lacrosse on Saturday against Irondequoit.
Keep in mind, she's only a sophomore, so that's actually quite impressive. She has 2 years of varsity experience, I believe. Might be a little more. I don't know if she was on that team that went 2-17 or whatever it was. But still, 2 years, maybe 3 years of varsity experience, 100 goals, that's impressive stuff.
This is her 3rd year of varsity lacrosse.
That means she would have been on varsity as a 7th grader. That's kind of nuts.
No, but I believe it, though, especially that was the 2-17 team then.
Yeah.
Would be her 4th if the COVID year didn't happen, and she probably would have had much more than 100 goals by now, which is absurd to think about. To get over to Prentice way deep out there on X. And goes opposite way to Neshi. Back over to Prentice. She gets by. Goes around, fires. That's one past Tarantini again for another North Star goal. North Star's building the 2-0 lead now. This might break the 10-game win streak we're seeing the Warriors put out so far this season.
Yeah, Prentice just absolutely dusting Starowitz on that one, making her fall to the ground. Just takes a step around the crease on the inside, and all she has to do is go 1v1 against the goalie there. And Mackenzie Prentice, one of those lethal finishers on this team, racking up a hefty total of, Owen just threw my gain up there, a hefty total of 20 goals and 20 assists. So she notches her 21st goal there, just with some clean offensive play from Mackenzie Prentice.
My bad. I was trying to adjust my gain and not yours. I apologize on that.
It's all good. Just blew my eardrums out for a little bit.
There's another Putman draw win here. Again, could just be huge because if North Stars can stay on offense and build a lead early, as we've seen them in the past few games really struggle to close out the first half and open up the second half, so they can go in with a pretty chunky lead towards those struggling parts of games that they have been in. That'd be a key part. And to protecting Michael J. Bragman here and moving on to 8-6 on the season.
The best thing CNS could do for themselves is just end this game early. They do not want to give the Warriors any chance to hang around in this one. They just want to put them away, put them to sleep, even before halftime if they can.
Yeah, especially I would not want to go against Franny Argentieri as that late game goalie for Westhill as well.
It's kind of what we saw when the North Stars took on FM last Tuesday. They had a solid lead throughout early in the game, and they just kept it. FM fought back a little bit, but the North Stars just had that game at half.
As this is Mahoney. Pressured tightly by now Allie Cole and Ella Pauline. Draws the double team. Pass fumbled at first there by Dillabo.
It looks like CNS has had Allie Cole just follow wherever the ball goes.
And that pass intercepted by Shea Firth.
Back to what I was saying, Allie Cole just almost ball hawking. Wherever that ball goes, she'll double, and it's worked for CNS's favor because they can just pick off those passes just like Shea Firth did there. Now they can slow their offense up.
Cicerelli. And tight pressure. That ball is flipped into the stick there of Rosati. Yeah, especially in a sport like lacrosse alongside basketball and even soccer in some terms, if you have a solid defense like CNS girls do, you can afford to send one of them and just ball hawk the entire team. Like we saw our girls basketball team do with Alita Carey Santangelo. As that shot is fired there by Carly Dillabo. That'll be her 13th goal on the year. She had a one-on-one with Nicole Mira, and as a goalie, it's very hard to win the one-on-one goal.
Yeah, and I mentioned it against Irondequoit on Saturday. CNS's biggest struggle is on these fast break attacks from the other team. When they can set up and play their set defense, they're solid. But every time they get caught out off a mistake on offense, that comes right back down their throat through some quick passes and just running the other way from whatever their opposition is. It's those fast break goals that they just can't do anything against, and that's really where we see them give up the majority of their points.
Yeah, Rob, we've been talking about the girls lacrosse field restriction rules on the past few broadcasts. We learned a little bit more about them as the seasons went on. But that's one thing in girls lacrosse where it can help you and it can also bite you. You can bring up basically as many girls as you want onto the attack, but that also means you're also going to leave that many back on defense, which can struggle, which is what we saw the North Stars did there. But so many girls up there on the attack and towards the midfield where once Westhill was going the opposite way, they struggled to get something going on the defensive end.
Yeah, like right now, if you look, obviously there's the 2 and 2. You have a 2v2 at that 30-yard line, and you also have a 2v2 at the opposite or their defensive 40. So like quick passes, you can just catch out a team so very quickly.
As Brooke Malchoff from the 8. That's fired, and that's North Stars now up 3-1 with 15:15 to go.
Yeah, and the North Stars just head full of steam, running at the net. That's the best thing they can do. Finishing your 8 meters is the easiest way to win a game because, quite honestly, it's like a penalty kick in soccer. It's just something that if you can convert them, you're going to be one of the best teams out there. And CNS showing why they're one of the better teams in Section 3 right now, just able to finish their 8 meters when they get them.
North Stars' 3 goals have been scored by 3 different scorers, Ionati, Prentice, and Molchanoff. If the North Stars really want to beat down this Westhill team, the best thing to do is get multiple scorers involved. That is how the North Stars blew out General Brown. That's how the North Stars beat FM. That is how they get their big wins.
Yeah, it always seems when you're in a game where you're really spreading the goal scoring, sharing the wealth, is when you're going to come out on top. Then you're not relying on one person to do so much of the workload. As Putman wins another draw there for CNS. She's been on fire in that center circle the past few games for the North Stars. Riley Kosick now in the game on the CNS attack. Giving Pauline Ionati and Cicerelli some breaths. It's Prentice coming around back. She fires right over the shoulder there of Argentieri. So that's now North Stars up 4-1. They are on fire right now. Let's see if they can continue through the next 14 minutes.
Yeah, and Argentieri just playing really risky, coming out of that front face of goal a lot to run around the crease. Johnny, do you have anything to say?
I really have to say, Prentice, that was a beautiful goal by her. Right up in the top of the goal. That is how Kenzie Prentice scores. She is looking on fire tonight. If she can stay as hot as she is right now, should be a great half for the North Stars.
And now we're going to send it to the third member of our team, Drew Matiasic. Drew, the North Stars have been running away with this one so far early on. So what do you have to say? What's the energy like down on the sideline?
Line is just nothing but electric. This attack from CNS is amazing. Their defense is doing great. I think that was Mackenzie Prentice's second goal of this game. It's a 4-1 game, 14:44 left in this first half. Let's see what they can do. Westhill's 10-2, I believe. This would be a big win if they can carry away and keep this lead, this 3-goal lead that they have, especially going into the second half of this first half.
Thank you, Drew. And Westhill coming away with that draw. So they'll look to attack again and close this lead that the North Stars have put up so far.
That was a risky pass by Molchanoff to Shea Firth that got intercepted by Westhill.
Now maybe Westhill can fire back at CNS, bring this back to a 2-goal game. So here's Zerillo on X. No one really pressuring her here. Molly McGrath taking a step off. Zerillo's going to go around, then McGrath will find her. It's actually Ava Semino, excuse me. Stepping in on the defensive end. Girl gets by Molly McGrath, and that's Kate Putman. That's Rosemary Mahoney getting the Warriors' second goal of the evening, getting the juke on there around Putman.
And now 4-2. Westhill starting to look more like themselves. A little more sustained offense there. They weren't running gun. I like to see that just because, quite frankly, you're not always going to have that fast break offensive opportunity. So if Westhill can keep that going for themselves, they can find themselves back in this game quite quickly. They just need to play their own style of offense. They were playing to CNS earlier on, and that's why they found themselves down by so much.
It's going to stay Putman for the draws for CNS. I don't see this changing at all unless she goes on a dry streak here, which is highly unlikely.
Yeah, Owen, and there's really no height differential there, so it's pretty even for both teams. It's not like when you see Ava Angelo for FM, who stands at like 6'2", where you have to put in someone taller. That way you can possibly win the draw. Whereas right now you have a pretty even height matchup, so things look pretty even on both sides. It just comes down to Gabby Putman just having a lot of skill on the draw this season.
Yeah, but actually, though, when FM was here, Putman did a solid job against Angelo with that big height difference and, honestly, experience and skill difference as well on maintaining a majority of the draws for CNS in a game where they absolutely blew the waters off the Hornets. As Kosick hits the deck inside the 8, no whistle blown. It's going to go the opposite way to FM. Rosenberger scooping up that ground ball.
I'm very surprised there wasn't a whistle there on the Westhill Warriors.
A lot of times you'll see that in girls lacrosse where the lady gets herself in the position to get knocked down, where the official's not going to give her a free 8-meter shot for putting herself there. They only blow the whistle if the other team does something to deserve it.
These refs this evening, definitely different than the refs we had on Saturday against Irondequoit. Irondequoit, those refs weren't really letting the North Stars play. These refs letting both teams play. So I guess that goes in favor of the more physical CNS North Stars.
As the Warriors will get a shot from the 8 here. Goes in. She's going to fire. That ball's actually poked loose. And then a blow whistle on a high stick check, it looks like here. So it should be another 8-meter shot for who looks to be number 11, Rosemary Mahoney, looking to get her second goal of the evening. She goes and she fires. That was just a low bounce shot. Had some arc on it once it hit the ground. And now it's a 4-3 game. Westhill might be crawling back into this one.
Yeah, they are crawling back into this one, and a lot of it just comes down to CNS needs to just limit these fouls. You can't give up a lot of 8 meters because, quite honestly, it's a really good attacking opportunity. And Nicole Mira, although a great goalie, she can't save everything. So you just want to limit the fouls, and if they do that, they'll find themselves running away with this game.
Rob, like we saw on Saturday, right around this point until around this time in the second half is when CNS basically fell apart. At this point in Saturday's game, this is when we saw Irondequoit go on a run, which continued into about the 12-10-ish minute mark in the second half. So hopefully that doesn't reoccur today, because that would not be a fun 25 minutes for CNS.
Yeah, and a lot of that's due to the fact that CNS just couldn't get out of foul trouble. I mean, they had 4 yellow cards, which left them a woman down for the rest of the game, and after that, they just found themselves falling apart because, quite honestly, you're trying to do so much when you're working with so little.
Putman pressured heavily there by Bridget Allen. They get inside to Sam Klein. She steps inside the 8. That pass is bobbled to the opposite way here for Westhill. Now they pass that one up to Rosati. Now up to
a beautiful interception there from Molly McGrath, and now she's got wheels, so she can run this offense if she wants to. Great work from Molly McGrath there.
Is that
beautiful evening here at Michael J. Bragman Stadium. We're in about the mid-70s. We got a nice breeze. I don't think we could ask for a better night for some lacrosse here. I asked Molly McGrath how the warm weather and the sun affects her. She said it's a lot better than playing in the freezing cold, which this girls lacrosse team has seen a lot of. But she also said it's a little tough sometimes to see on the field with the sun, but pretty shady this evening.
As here is Lowry on X. Gets it over to Zarillo. Bro, I'm looking at the stat sheet here. You really think that the Westhill offense in her past 12 games really run through Zarillo, feeding from X. She has 16 assists on the season, which is impressive.
Yeah, and that is impressive, but I just look at the North Star stat sheet, and I feel like it's so much more spread out compared to West Jennies. You know, the North Stars, they have a lot of different contributors on offense, whereas Westhill, they only have 2 or 3.
Yeah, that is true, as CNS has 3 girls with at least 15 assists on the season, one with 20, one with 27, and then the other, well, actually it's 14 assists, excuse me. Maljanov with 14, Tortora with 27, and Prentice with 20. As Nestor but also though, Nestor over the last 3 games has to have at least 5 or 6, which those numbers will continue to exponentially grow as the season goes on and her lacrosse career goes on.
And Molly McGrath with another beautiful interception. Now she can feed it to Neshi after running a whole length of the field to get this one into the attacking third.
As we have seen an absence of Tortora in the past few games, Sophia Neshi, Fran calls her mini-me, and she has looked like a mini Tortora out there on X for CNS. And she's been a huge part of this offense that sort of had a resurgence in the last 5 or so games. Ayanati taking things slow. Malchinov back on the field. They'll immediately give it to her. Something about a 22 midfielder, Rob, for CNS Lacrosse. Just coming on the field and immediately catching the ball. Shows how important they are to that offense. Ayanati fires. And that's right in the stick of Franny Argentieri.
Oh, and once again, I can't help but just notice the player difference on the sideline here. It's like Westhill has their own student section. Just so many girls on that sideline.
You can hear it.
The energy down there is awesome to see. Whereas the North Stars definitely lack in numbers, but have a lot of energy themselves as well.
As they still have not, the ball is still not left Argentieri's stick.
And the North Stars not inclined to press her, seeing that they're up, so no need to. Just wait and see where she passes it.
Eventually going to dump it off over to Albert. And she'll get it up there to Starowicz. Now it's Lowry trying to beat the ride, as this CNS ride is proving to be not fun for the Warriors. But now the North Stars struggling to get back. They get a girl inside. That pass is bobbled. Eventually controlled. Get it back out there to Mahoney. Now over to Winkler. Sampo going around X here. Zerillo over to Mahoney. Mahoney going in on Malchinov. This will be blown there on Semino. So now it looks like Winkler will get it, or Mahoney will get a shot here from the 8 meter on that right wing.
Yeah, and this is a good look for her. It's not on her dominant hand, so I wouldn't be surprised if she passes.
He actually just takes it right out and then reset the offense. They have a wide open hole in the middle. That fires Mira a little too late on that one, as West Hill's knotted this game back up. Like I said, CNS struggles to close the first half, but they can close the second half.
Yeah, and now 4-4 your score. We're going to send it down to Drew Matiasic just to tell us about how is the tide turned. What are you feeling on the sideline with Westhill making a quick comeback?
To double down on their defense in the second half of the first half. They haven't had many chances on the attack. That's what I've noticed a lot. They have not been getting possession on that attack. They get on defense. They get a little bit of time on that attack, but then it goes right back, and they just got to keep playing defense. And defense is good, but you can only hold on for so long before West Hill can get those scoring chances and score and get those opportunities, and that's what made it go from 4-1 to 4-4 in just those few minutes.
Thank you there, Drew. As now this might be one of the biggest draws for CNS. They need to get that offense back moving, as that one is lost by CNS, and that goes in the hands of West Hill. Winkler has it. Now here's Sampo. They got 6.5 left in this first half. Now to Winkler. Spinning around, she fires. That one's way over the top of Mira's head to go out of bounds. Stick with West Hill. Coming speedy off X is Sampo. She's pressured tightly by Lieberman. She hits the ground. Whistle going to be blown on Mira Lieberman.
Our Stars defense really needs to stiffen up a little bit. they've allowed 3 straight goals, and they're all by the same person. All 3 goals are by Rosemary Mahoney. So they really need to stop her. And the North Stars haven't scored in over 9 minutes. So they need to stiffen up the defense, and they need a goal fast.
I wouldn't necessarily say the defense has been the problem. It's the fact they've been playing defense for about 15 minutes straight, which in any sport, if you're playing defense for that long in a row, it's very hard. Like we see with Syracuse football a lot of the times. The defense has always been pretty solid, but they're playing defense for almost the majority of the game because the offense has struggled so much. So when your defense is good, but it's playing so much, it's only a matter of time until it breaks down and holes are found, which is what we're seeing right now with CNS.
Now Rosenberg has a beautiful lane to shoot this one on the 8-meter. She's going to wind up. I'd be surprised if she doesn't shoot. Steps, fires, and that one's into the back of the net. Now it's 5-4 to Westhill. Just like that, they have surged back ahead after being 4-1 down. 5 minutes left in the half. The North Stars got to figure it out because, quite honestly, they're throwing this one away right now.
That's what the North Stars need to do. They need to wake up. This offense has done nothing, in my opinion, for the last 10 or 15 minutes. They need to wake up and get something going. They've been winning draws, but once they get past about the 40-yard line, they've struggled through everything. And Prentice is actually to call timeout there, which I think is a great timeout. You've given up 4 straight goals, and you have done nothing on the offensive end. Talk things over with your offense, get something going, and close out these last 5 minutes strong.
Yeah, and the North Stars just seem shell-shocked right now. Westhill just coming out and, quite honestly, punching them in the face. They were down 4-1. They came out. They figured it out. And now Westhill just holds all the cards right now. So, yeah, you're right, Owen. CNS needs to wake up and dial in because, quite frankly, they're just throwing this one away. Like I said, it should not be a 5-4 game right now. If CNS can finish their chances and, quite honestly, just get their offense to start clicking and get rid of the silly mistakes they've made, they're winning this game easily. But right now, they're just having too many silly mistakes. They look tired. They're shell-shocked, and now they're down 5-4 with 5 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, and they cannot come out like this on Thursday against West Tennessee. That is a must-win Metro game for sectionals. If they come out and play like this in that game, your season pretty much might be over and not even make that sectional playoffs. As now they just need to get something going. We saw it in this game, obviously. We saw it with Ron Nicoy on Saturday. And we also saw a little bit of it in the Liverpool game that we went to on Thursday, or Tuesday, excuse me. No, Thursday, in that family game on Tuesday. It started off, they're coming into this part of the half slow, but those games eventually the North Stars sort of took over and ran away with. But they cannot let this one get away from them.
Yeah, and Owen, you're right about that West Jenny game. That's one that they almost need to win because if they don't, it makes that Liverpool game a must-win game, and they don't want that. They beat Liverpool the last time they played them, and they've also beat West Jenny. But being in a must-win situation is never where you want to be, especially when it means sectionals. So just a win against either West Jenny or Liverpool is the best thing they can do for themselves. And you don't want to go into that game with a loss, especially when you're on a 2-game losing streak. They need to get themselves right, win here. That way they can carry some momentum into that big game on Thursday here on the North Star Network.
Yeah, especially. CNS right now sits 1 game above 500 on the season, and they're at 500 right now in the Metro. They drop this game, they're at 500 on the season, and they drop Thursday, they're below 500 in the Metro. You need to be 400 in your league, if I'm not mistaken, for sectionals. They drop that game, they might not be at 400, especially if they drop Liverpool. With West Jenny and Liverpool, both two teams, where if CNS comes out and plays like this, they will not beat. They have to come out like they did against FM and against Liverpool last Thursday, and that'll be 2 wins for North Stars on a Thursday, Tuesday. But they need to wake up and come back within this game.
Yeah, and this has been a long time out, so hopefully they're talking things over. We haven't even seen the team break apart at all. Sometimes we see the defense and the offense separate and talk things over. Right now it's just a whole team discussion, so they're hopefully figuring things out. Whereas Westhill, that huddle's got to be really a lot to handle. I mean, there's probably 41 people in that huddle when they talk things over. So there's definitely a lot going on there. So I don't know how beneficial a timeout can really be for Westhill, but on CNS's side, it's always beneficial to talk things over for them, and they need to figure things out. Johnny, what do you got to say?
Well, I got to say, it looks like Westhill split up their huddle. Looks like the JV, because they don't have a JV team. So it looks like the younger players went with assistant coach Lloyd Hamilton, and the rest of the team went with head coach Bob Elmer. If you're Westhill, you got to say keep the offensive momentum because they have looked amazing on offense these last 10 minutes, and they just need to keep doing what they're doing to continue to win this game.
Yeah, and now a big draw here for CNS as they need a win on it. 5-4 your score, like we mentioned. 5:03 on the clock. CNS having 1 timeout left. Westhill with 2. That ball is bobbled. Still loose. Westhill comes away with it. They're going to look to attack now. And now they can get something going. They're trying to extend their lead. Right now it is number 6, Grace Winkler with it. She flies it over to number 13, Carly Dillabo. And now they're going to slow things down, move it over to number 3, Lowry. Addie Lowry kicks it. And now they're back at the top of the arc. Winkler drives. She looks to get down the wing. She does. Fires it to X. And now it's Lowry with it. Samino to defend. Lowry gets in front of the crease. Met by 2 CNS defenders. Kicks back out. They're going to slow things down still. Taking their time here. Stutter step. Cut inside. Looks to fire. Hesitates. No. Winkler now with it. She runs into 3 bodies. Nothing there for her. CNS looks much better on defense so far, really slowing down this Westhill attack. And now it's kicked over all the way up to Winkler. She's at the top of the arc, top of the 12. Rolls inside, met by Allie Cole, bobbled, caught by Lowry. Lowry spins around the crease, met by Mira Lieberman. And now it's Dillabo with it. She gives it to Sampo. Sampo kicks it up to number 10, Carly Rosenberg. Or Cara Rosenberg, excuse me. Rosenberg rolls around the 8. She finds Lowry. Lowry bobbles it. Brooke Molchernoff stays at the crease, though. Doesn't want to step out. CNS doing a great job at defending the middle here. Now it's Allie Cole working at the 12 against number 11, Rosemary Mahoney. Mahoney rolls around the crease. She looks to fire. Hesitates. No. Now it's Lowry with it. Lowry rolls around the crease, finally fed by a CNS defender. Winkler spins. CNS doing a great job still at defending. Mira Lieberman jumps. Winkler gets inside, and that's going to be an 8-meter. After a good, solid defensive stand from CNS, Winkler finds herself with an 8-meter on her strong hand. Mira Lieberman giving that one up, so Winkler now, I wouldn't be surprised if she steps into a shot here. Nicole Mira in her stance, ready to go, waiting for a whistle. And here it goes. Winkler steps up, fires, saved by Mira. And Mira now slow things down. CNS can finally recollect. 2:25 on the clock. And it's Brooke Molchernoff with it. She fires it over to Ava Samino.
Great job by Nicole Mira. Now that was Winkler's first shot attempt of the game. She has not scored. And like we've been saying, she is the points and goal leader for Westhill. So surprising that she is scoreless. And it's the end of the first half.
I think the smart thing here from CNS will just be to hold this ball for the last 2 or so minutes, get one shot, and just get into halftime tied up. Unless you see something you really like early, and then you try and get a draw win and get back on the offensive end and try and take the lead heading into halftime, which I see almost as unlikely as Pauline elects to go to Neshi on X, looking for Kosick inside. She'll eventually catch it. No, that one was actually caught there. Then Neshi intercepts it. That was a sequence of events there. We're at 140 now. Neshi pressured. Now she gets it over there to Molchernoff. That's Pauline.
That was a great job by Neshi to keep the possession alive. Beautiful play for the North Stars.
Now to Kosick. Gets it to Molchernoff inside. She'll try and dump one off. That one's no good. It's going to go out of bounds. That's going to be... Neshi can't get the ground ball scoop. And then... That was actually Argentieri coming way out of the crease to get that one.
Argentieri almost like a sweeper keeper here tonight. She just cuts out of her crease as quick as possible. The first Westhill defender somehow out there. Now Westhill running things up the field. They got 55 seconds to make some magic happen.
The North Stars cannot give up a goal here. This would be worst case scenario. You just gave up possession, gave the other team under a minute left of possession. Is if they score here, you almost have nothing left to work with before that first half horn goes off.
Now Sampo works from the X.
Might have heard the coach on the sideline tell the team they've got 30 seconds. They've got to go. Sampo doubled. That ball is poked out of bounds. It's like off the stick of CNS. It's going to stick with Westhill.
.21 seconds on the clock. This will be taken out from X by Sampo. She kicks it across the crease.
That pass or shot a little too high over Mira's goal, as that's going to go to Winkler now. She's got 10 seconds. Winkler spins into Allie Cole. That's a fire. That's a goal for the Westhill Warriors, number 6, Grace Winkler. Now CNS is now down 6-4 with just under 8 seconds left in the first half.
And CNS giving up a goal with 7 seconds left on the clock. The absolute worst thing they could have done for themselves there. I would not want to be in that North Stars locker room for this halftime talk. The best thing they can do for themselves now is win this draw and at least go into halftime with some positives going their way.
Well, Grace Winkler finally strikes the UConn commit. That was a great goal by her. Yeah, North Stars can't be happy with what happened there. I don't know if they can make something happen in 7 seconds, excuse me. But they can definitely try.
That draw is up, one by the Warriors. They've got 2 seconds. Will they fire from way deep out? They'll just run away, and that's going to be the end of your first half. Westhill striking late. It's now 6-4. They lead. And Rob, we're actually going to send it down to Andrew Matiasik.
Yeah, Owen, I think this is the best time to send it down to Drew. You know, the North Stars giving up a late goal. What's the energy like down there? What do you think the North Stars have to fix? You're on the field. Is there anything they're talking about right now that they want to fix? So, Drew, just give us a little insight to what you're hearing.
Well, right now, I mean, it's just defense. Like I reiterated about 6 minutes ago, they've just got to double down on defense. There's no attack. I mean, they're not getting any chances at an attack. That needs to happen in the second half. And, I mean, I can't really hear what they're talking about down here, but I imagine it does have something to do with defense. They had a 4-1 lead going into the second half of the first half, and now they're losing 6-4. So CNS, the North Stars, really need to clean it up here on defense, but also need to take advantage of the chances that they're getting on the attack.
Thank you, Drew. And Johnny, I'm sure you have something to say like you always do. What have you seen in that first half?
Well, I really saw that Westhill in the second half of that first half, they really out-hustled CNS, and they kept them on defense. The North Stars really struggle, like in any sport, when they're on defense for that prolonged period of time. And their offense was really, really hot coming into the first half. But then they really fell flat the rest of the first half, allowing 5 straight Warrior goals. You can't do that. The North Stars need to come back into the second half with more energy and a resurgence. They need a much better offensive performance in the second half to beat Westhill. Obviously, that 5-goal run is not what they wanted, so Coach Prentice definitely talking to her defense and telling her offense to play hard and have a lot more energy, Rob.
And, Johnny, I couldn't agree more. Make sure to stay tuned as this one is all but over. 4-6 your score. Make sure to stay tuned for after halftime. The North Stars having an uncharacteristic first half. They look to fix things against the Westhill Warriors. Stay tuned to the North Star Network.
We are back here live, for the second half of this Warriors-North Stars matchup. North Stars now trailing currently 6-4. Not where you want to be in, especially in a game that's a must-win that'll bring you up to 8-6 on the season heading into your last 2 games of the season, both league games against West Genesee and Liverpool.
Yeah, and this draw really crucial. If the North Stars can win it and start off on the right foot, that'll be a positive headed their way. But if they don't win it, things just won't look good. You know, you don't want to have to defend after having to defend for probably the last 15 minutes of that half. So this one's going to be massive as it's popped up and bobbled. Molchanoff hits it her way and gathers it, so CNS gets the start. And she's flying down the field. She might just go herself.
Actually take things back out here. Back towards the top, gets it over to Sam Klein. Now that's Tori Ayanati. Now over to Shea Firth, back to Ayanati. And that's going to be Sam Klein. Going back towards the top.
Thank you to Mr. McGrath down on the sideline. The Westhill goalie has 3 saves. Westhill turned the ball over 5 times.
As Ayanati rips one there, not to cut you off, Johnny, but that's what they needed. They needed to start the second half hot, and Ayanati rips one wide open. Now you got 6-5 North Stars.
Yeah, Ayanati getting her second of the night. She gets the North Stars back on the right foot, scoring in under a minute into the second half. That's what the North Stars needed. Johnny, back over to you with what you were saying.
Well, first, beautiful goal by Tori Ayanati, perfect for the North Stars. Now, Westhill controlled 4 out of the 11 draws. They had 5 turnovers, and their goalie had 3 saves. Well, CNS has 8 draw controls, 3 turnovers, and Nicole Mira has 2 saves. So I would say a solid first half with these stat-wise. Only 3 turnovers for the North Stars compared to 5 for Westhill. That's a good advantage that the North Stars want to be up on.
And now once again, another draw that CNS looks to win.
Lately in this game, it hasn't really been Putman doing, well, she hasn't been doing a solid job, and it's really been Molchanoff and Firth on the wing play.
That looks like a false start, so we will go back to it.
Would have been a false start. I don't know what that call is, but it wasn't a false start. If you false start, it obviously goes the opposite way.
The ref might not have seen it, which is also a fair call.
Just going to get a reset here.
That one basically the same exact thing we saw, and now Molchanoff has it. Brooke looks to run the offense again. Now she slows out and waits for help.
Yeah, notice every time she comes with the draw, she just digs into that right wing, so a little offsets the Warriors' defense. Digs into either side wing, and then they're going to reset that offense. And really go the opposite way that Molchanoff starts on. Now she comes around X. They were looking there. That ball almost looks like it was tipped by Ayanati. She's got 2 goals in a row. That's her hat trick of the evening. Now we're back at 6-6. Tori Ayanati really catching in there on the inside, running the North Stars offense to start.
Yeah, and a minute and 12 seconds into this second half, the North Stars tie it up 6-6. Tori Ayanati with both goals. And right there, I think a lot of it comes down to Argentieri. She really moves around her goal and opens things up. She tries to defend the whole crease, and right there you see it bite her because she steps out, and all that has to happen is a cross-crease pass, and Ayanati doesn't even catch that ball. She just taps it in, and that's 6-6 now.
That's where that was a little tough to see because it looked like Ayanati barely even got any touch on that ball with her stick. It almost looked like it might have bumped off someone's body or even by the West Genesee defender's stick, which allowed Ayanati to get the goal in there. But, hey, North Stars tie it back up at 6 apiece.
And Shea Firth gathers that one. Now Brooke Molchanoff looks to go again. The North Stars finally looking like themselves. I think that halftime talk was just what they needed. Now they just got to keep going with it. Don't let your momentum die.
They find a wide open Sophia Neshi. She's going to go around X. They find Cicerelli inside. She's unable to control it. That's going to go right into the hands of Sam Klein. Eventually scooped up. She's going to go right back to Neshi.
Neshi with a
catches the bounce pass. And maybe she bumped it with her foot, which I don't know if you can hit it with your feet in girls lacrosse. I'm going to assume not if they're going to give that one to Neshi. As now this is going to be the first possession here for Westhill starting on their opposite end.
Yeah, and that's one of those ones where I wish we grew up playing girls lacrosse or at least watching it so we knew what took place there because I'm kind of clueless on that one. But that ball was flown out of bounds, so now it's Ayanati. She kicks it to
Sam Klein wide open. She fires Sam Klein right in that bottom left corner past Argentieri. Now North Stars take that lead back, scoring 3 goals quickly, just about 2:21 end of this second half, excuse me.
3 goals in under 3 minutes, and the North Stars take the lead 7-6. They have dominated Westhill. Westhill, the only time they've actually had the ball, it was thrown out of bounds. They gave it right back to the North Stars, who capitalized on the opportunity. So 7-6 your score. The North Stars just running the show right now. And now another draw. It will be Gabby Putman looking to win it against Rosemary. Scratch that. That's Kara Rosenberg. Rosenberg versus Putman. That one's popped way in the direction of Brooke Malchinoff. She wins another one, and she's attacking quickly. Gets through the Westhill defenders. There's 2 on her right now. She gets checked. That one will be a foul going the North Stars' way. She'll actually take it from the 8. She could make it 8-6, but it isn't on her dominant hand, so I wouldn't expect a shot here.
Yeah, let's see if Malchinoff, she might go try and find an opposite wing here on a cutter. Let's see what she likes to do here. She's actually going to step right back out of it and get it right back to Neshi, who has been the main focal point of this offense and why they've scored probably 3 straight, I'd say.
Neshi rolls around the crease.
We're seeing the Sophia Neshi we saw during the big North Stars run, beating FM and Liverpool. If Sophia Neshi is hot in both goals and assists, the North Stars are on.
As that pass was a little high for the 5'4" Sam Klein, as now here comes Westhill the other way. Great pressure there from Allie Cole on Mahoney, forcing her right outside the X away from the crease. Now they go opposite way to X. Back out to Sampo. Warriors taking it a little slow here. Get it out to Zerillo.
The Westhill offense is like a complete opposite of the North Stars because Westhill, you can see they're slowing down their offense. While CNS, they've scored 3 fast goals. The North Stars are a fast, high-paced offense compared to Westhill's very slow approach to offense.
Which is maybe why the North Stars were struggling so much in the latter half of that first half, was the fact that they were playing to the speed of Westhill, which they just never do well when they play to the speed of their opponent, which is why we see them get down in some games, which now when they're playing to their own speed, they've scored 3 straight and now take that lead right back.
Yeah, and they need a strong defensive stand here. You don't want to let Westhill tie this one back up after you put in so much work to get ahead.
Now she'll get in. That's a shot, and that's a fire. That one a little unexpected there from Nicole Mira as she was sort of hit down. Thought they were going to have the whistle blown, but the Westhill Warrior there gets the shot off, and now we are back tied at 7 apiece.
7-7, 20 minutes left on the clock. This one might be a barn burner towards the finish. Who can outscore who? CNS, the one time they don't capitalize on offense, they give up a goal on defense. That's not what you want to see. If you're not going to score, you don't want to give up a goal. So hopefully they can figure it out because, once again, it's their defense that hurts them. Hopefully their offense can score a goal here and keep them in it.
Honestly, Rob, with the way this game's been going, both teams starting out in their spurts hot. But then you also had a lot of dry streaks as well from both sides. This game might be the first to 11 or 12 goals wins the game. That draws up right into the stick of Shea Firth. That's a much-needed offensive possession win and opportunity here for CNS. Shea Firth, wide open Peltman. That one's a little sailed too far, and that's right into the stick of Rosati.
The North Stars have won all 5 draw controls this half.
And Rob, there's not many fans in attendance for tonight's game, but it sounds like there is just from the fact that there are 27 girls on the sideline for Westhill. That is absurd. That's a whole that's more students actually we had for most of our games this season.
Oh, and that's more players than CNS has on their actual roster. It's just nuts to see that many people lined up. When they walked in, it looked like a football team walking into the stadium, just the girl is never ending walking through the tunnel.
So now taking things a little slow here on X. Unguarded is Samplo. Goes around, fakes, back to her left hand. Finds Zerillo. That pass to Lowry, a little too long. Fight for it at the offsides line. That one's going to be came away by Putman. They're going to blow someone offside, so it's going to go back to Westhill.
Looks like the refs might be discussing this one. It looks like they will stick with Westhill ball. Westhill getting another attack here due to the offsides of CNS.
Lowry swings to X. That is Winkler. Gets over to Sampo. Sampo double teamed by Pauline.
When CNS was doing well on defense, we saw them throw Allie Cole at whoever had the ball almost as a ball hawk, like I mentioned earlier. That's when we saw them do the best on defense, so I wouldn't be surprised if they switch back into that type of defense.
Yeah, they now actually have it as Pauline being the ball hawk here for CNS to start off this second half. So they're going to get a shot, or not a shot, but an opportunity from the 12. As they're going to take it right back out towards X. Winkler is bumped.
And that might be a yellow card.
Has the flag in his hand, so it looks like they'll get a shot from the 8 here.
Looks like that was on Brooke Molchanoff.
This is not a very good angle that I would want to have.
It's still on her strong hand, though. If she takes a step inside, she might be able to finish.
Yeah, she got more than a step there, but that ball was blocked by Mira and controlled by CNS, and now it's going to go back towards CNS. Mira gets it over to McGrath, who gets it up to Putman. Putman draws a triple team at the midfield. She spins out of it, gets it back to McGrath. So she's going to go opposite towards the midfield of Pauline. Now she got it up to Molchanoff.
Molchanoff with room to run. She's going to like what she sees ahead
It's a
of her.
wide open Sophia Nesci. That's a fire, and that's a goal there from Sophia Nesci, assisted by Brooke Molchanoff. North Stars take that lead right back, 8-7.
And, you know, that's a combination we see often, but usually it's Molchanoff scoring the goal and Nesci with the assist. That time, Molchanoff feeds it to Nesci. Nesci gets her 13th goal on the season. And Brooke Molchanoff, not someone who we see assist often, but that's her 15th assist this season. So the North Stars take the lead with 17 minutes left. They look much more like themselves now, Owen.
Yeah, they've really come alive in the second half. I wonder who gave that halftime speech. Because honestly, a lot of the times in most sports, it's not the head coach that gives that halftime speech. So it's usually an assistant or a player that riles the team up. So I'm curious to know who really riled this team up to come out and play the second half like they are right now. Who's your guess, Rob?
Honestly, I think it probably was Tori Ionati. She has a lot of fire in her. One of those people who just naturally can fire up anyone who she's around. So I feel like she would have definitely talked to the team a little bit, or even the likes of Sam Klein. She is known as a leader. Mackenzie Prentice, she's very vocal.
We've seen her with her energy in each starting lineup introduction she gets.
Yeah, you know, one of those just firecrackers for CNS, I'd assume, had to give that talk.
They're looking for Cicerelli inside. They couldn't find her. That's going to go into the stick there of Argentiri. Yeah, Rob, I've really noticed with Argentiri, she is not one that's afraid to leave the crease whatsoever, even leave the general area of the crease just to do whatever where she's needed on that defensive end.
Yeah, she definitely is confident outside of that goal. I'd almost call her a sweeper keeper because she just moves all around the crease in the field, just running that defensive half. Westhill is attacking now.
Yeah, usually it's the head coach that makes the call to go empty net, but it looks like a lot of times tonight Argentiri has made her own call if she wants to leave her goal or not. Because she knows if it's her decision that ends up with a goal scored on with leaving the crease wide open, it's going to be her that's losing playing time.
And it's worked well this season. They only average giving up 7 goals per game. They've only given up 86 goals on the season, so they've done well defensively.
Mahoney guarded by McGrath and Pauline. Great trap here from CNS.
Westhill averages 14.3 goals a game, and on average they allow 7.2 goals a game. So they're about +7 in the average.
The pass inside was a no-go. They're going to go back out opposite side to Dillabo. So now here's Sampo. Finds a lane inside. She'll draw a whistle, and that's going to be Westhill getting a shot from the 8 here.
Yeah, and this should be right down the center of the 8. Probably one of the most dangerous spots to shoot from. Sampo could find herself with a goal here.
Sampo has a shot straight on the pipe. False start there.
It
that
goes
is
CNS's way.
the last thing Westhill wanted on that 8-meter shot. That would have been a chance to get the game tied up at 8 apiece, but instead now CNS will have an offensive opportunity. And they can get across this midfield as McGrath goes opposite way to Lieberman.
Very, very rare you see a false start on an 8-meter because you're waiting for the ref to blow their whistle. But Sampo there just gets ahead of herself and ends up costing Westhill a wide-open shot on goal.
Putman goes apprentice, and I'm pretty sure no defenders can move on an 8-meter, even anyone sort of like a free throw, until the person with the ball in their hands makes a move. So it's not even like she was trying to get ahead of the other team. She just tried to time the ref's whistle and get an extra step or two, which worked out not in her favor.
Now CNS slowing things down. They're going to set up the offense they want to run.
Putman taking it back towards the middle. Scoop pass over to Molchanoff. She finds inside. That pass way wide to Putman, recovered by Firth, and that is blocked by Argenteri.
Argenteri taking that one off the leg. That shouldn't have felt good. As now Gabby Cicerelli hot in pursuit of number 12, Nikki Albert.
As Albert finds Rosenberger. Rosenberger going right down the middle. Going to take things out. Looks like she might have had a shot there with her left hand. I'm assuming she's not very strong or confident shooting with the left hand. Like in any position, if you got to go opposite way, it's kind of difficult. As they're really working this offense through Sampo the majority of this game, which obviously has worked for them because they're only down by 1 goal against a Class A powerhouse in CNS. That pass almost bounced out of bounds, had some spin on it, so it stayed in. And that shot fired by Winkler. We'll net this game back up at 8 apiece here. We got 13:03 left to go.
And a beautiful finish by Winkler, just going straight through the 5-hole in Nicole Mira. There's no time for her to adjust to that shot. Now it's 8-8, 13 minutes left on the clock. This is, once again, going to be a barn burner. I can't see one team running away with it late here because both teams are just going back and forward. One's capitalizing on their chances, and then the other's capitalizing on their chances, and it's back and forward this whole game.
That is Winkler's second goal of the game, just her second. That's her 44th goal on the season. That's a pretty solid total for Winkler, who is a senior.
Now this is one of the bigger draws for Putman. She'll come away with it almost immediately. Now she's going to go completely the other way. She's got past 1.
Yeah, and she's got wheels. She could run by anyone on this Westhill team or even anyone on the CNS team.
And that's huge for CNS to have Putman as only a freshman, as she has the endurance to run for about forever, what seems like. And if she keeps developing her ability, not just win draws, but also provide a spark on the offensive end, she'll be a key part in the next 2 years of a CNS varsity lacrosse team.
The only challenge that comes with Putman is they have to make sure she still loves lacrosse, because just like her sister Kate did, she could always leave lacrosse to go to track, where Kate Putman, her older sister, is one of the best girls in the nation as far as running distance goes. And Argenteri flies out of
way out of the stick, and there's Putman with a goal.
And right
Gabby
there,
Putman getting him what I'm pretty sure that's her 12th goal of the year. As that's the downside of Argenteri leaving the crease so often, is if you get a quick pass, sort of like a 2-3 zone in basketball, if you get the defense shifted, you get one quick pass, you have a wide open slam dunk, which is what Gabby Putman had right there.
Yeah, and Argenteri tries to just pick that one off, misses, and that's the consequence of not picking that ball off, is CNS just has to pass it right in front of the crease, and even if they don't catch the ball, all they have to do is poke it forward, and right there, they just get an easy goal. Now it's 9-8. Westhill really could not afford to give up a goal there. CNS has some momentum now. Let's see what they can do with it with 12 minutes left.
Yeah, and with 12 minutes left, you cannot let this momentum die out. We've said this phrase a lot, but worst case scenario for CNS. Because one thing they struggle with, they always have one part of each half that's very good for them.
And CNS wins another draw. Brooke Molchanoff running with it. She's got a lot of space to move. She gets checked there. That's going to be an 8-meter. That will be on her non-dominant hand, so I wouldn't expect a shot. Still always a possibility, though. She is the leading goal scorer for the North Stars.
Molchanoff goes inside. That's a fire, and that's a shot and a goal from Brooke Molchanoff. We're now at 10-8. North Stars have the 2-goal lead. And, Rob, I think you want to send it down.
Oh, and I do think it's the perfect time to send it down to Drew Matiasic. We've seen the North Stars surge back ahead in this second half with 11 minutes and 38 seconds left to go. Drew, what have you seen from down there on the field?
Well, a lot of what I've seen is their attack has just been phenomenal. They came out strong on this attack. Their defense has been locked in. They're dialed in on defense. A lot of saves, but especially on that goal down there, that 9th goal, it just dragged the goalie, Francesca Argentieri, out of her net, fed right up the middle, and that was a good goal. This is a 2-goal lead. They've got to protect it. If they can knock off Westhill, that'll be amazing.
Thank you, Drew. And that draw is up, and it is still loose. Neither team coming away with it. Now it's going towards Westhill's way. They get it. Winkler's going to run now. And CNS looks to defend their 2-goal lead.
Winkler kicks it over there to Rosenberger. Now it is Mahoney with it. North Stars doing something here where you don't really see it often. They're actually just letting X be almost wide open and not pick them up until they come closer towards the goal, which you see here. McGrath come and hunt Mahoney here. Get it to Winkler. She picked up by Cole. That's a fire off the legs, what it looks like, of Mira. And now this is Westhill right back with it. Winkler comes around. It's actually Rosenberger. She takes a shot, looks like to the head. So now she will get a shot here from the 8-meter, and this could bring the game right back within 1 if there's no false start, Rob.
Yeah, and this is on her strong hand. All she has to do is just step into this one and fire. Really good look for her. Zerillo can just put one away here, and that gets them 1 goal away.
Zerillo goes. She fires. That one's right past Nicole Mira. A little late on the movement there. Now we're back to 10-9. 10-17 to go. North Stars got to get things back going the other way as they had a little defensive stint there.
Oh, and what I've learned about those 8 meters on a girl's strong hand is it's almost like a layup in basketball. It's very rare you see a miss on them because it's so hard for the defense to contest when a girl can just fire at any time. And right there we see Zerillo take a couple extra steps, and then all she has to do is float that one past Mira. Now 10-9 your score. 10-17 left on the clock. This game, very high scoring so far. Let's see how much farther it goes, as this draw can be very crucial for Westhill. If they get a win, they can go down and tie this game up.
Yeah, and the other thing with that is that in Lacrosse with the 8-meter, if you have a girl who has a quick first step, it's almost a guaranteed goal for her as well, because I've already said a one-on-one with a goalie, as long as you don't completely shank it, that's a guaranteed goal for you 100% of the time.
Yeah, and now Shea Firth comes away with it. Mackenzie Prentice looks to work. She cuts inside, nothing there for her. Cuts it across the crease. There's Tori Iannati. She falls back and scores after getting hit on the shot. What a beautiful goal.
I just made
Tori
the
Iannati.
one hand motion there, Rob, is Tori Iannati. She's now got 4 goals here tonight. 4 of the 11 for CNS. Now we've got them up 2 once again, just under 10 minutes. As she's been on fire and a key part of this CNS offense tonight, Rob.
Yeah, Iannati just finding a way to score through traffic. 3 girls in front of her, but she just reaches over the top and fires that one down into the back of the net. Beautiful goal from Iannati, and now the North Stars have a little bit more of a cushion to work with. They're trying to extend that lead and not let Westhill get back into it. They have been on fire in this second half, only giving up 3 goals. Johnny, anything you have to add?
Beautiful shot by Ionati. The pass from Prentice couldn't have been any more perfect. And the North Stars win their 9th draw of this half compared to Westhill. Westhill has only got 1 draw this half. North Stars, that's why they're up. That's why they've been so hot this half. They've been winning the draw control. Gabby Putman is on fire.
And another draw win from CNS, and now Mackenzie Prentice gets slashed on the head, so this one will be straight down the center of the 8 meters. She puts her goggles back on. She is a lethal scorer. She can put this one away with ease, Owen.
Oh, easily with ease for Prentice. She's already winding up that sidearm like a jack-in-the-box ready to go, but that one must have been a defective one, as Argenteri,
great save.
She's been on point tonight when she stays in the crease. It's almost when she leaves the crease and tries to get a little too fancy with it and gets off fundamentally. That's when CNS is able to get the easy goals. Like they've got to have at least 4 goals tonight, just based on the fact that Argenteri is leaving the crease.
Yeah, Argenteri, I don't think she realizes that she doesn't have to make the big play. If she just sits at home, she can make the save. She's a great goalie, but it's when she leaves that crease where things start to get a little risky and not go their way.
Those could be the little things we don't notice when she just stays in the crease, or when she leaves the crease that she's actually doing, where if she stayed in there, they wouldn't happen for that Westhill defense. Something we might not ever know because she's not going to change the way she's been playing, obviously. As Zerillo swings over there to Rosenberger. Firth coming off will be replaced by Cicerelli. Sampo pressured tightly by Doty. Whistle will be blown, so looks like she'll get a chance here from the 12. I'd assume she'll just pass this left side. Very rarely do you see the shot taken from that far away. She'll go right over there to Rosenberger, who goes over to Zerillo.
Some good help defense right there from Brooke Molchanoff just to slide and cover that shot lane.
Coming around, spins back to her left hand. That's Winkler. Trying to get inside, completely shut down there by Molly McGrath.
And that one's poked away. There will be a call. That will be from the 8 meter. And this one not on Rosenberger's shooting hand, her dominant hand, so I'd assume to pass, but she is winded up to shoot.
This had to be a tight window she has to find, and she actually finds it there. Rob, that was one of the tightest windows you possibly could have. And Rosenberger found it there, as now we're back just to 11-10 with 7:25 to go. This has been a barn burner, like you mentioned, a back-and-forth game all night. I'd assume the game of the night here that we have seen so far. I don't know if anything else that's this close on a Tuesday evening here in Central New York.
Yeah, definitely a good competitor for the game of the week so far. I think our game of the week last week had to be that CNS Liverpool game.
Oh, no doubt about it.
That was an awesome game to watch. This one gearing up to also be one of those game of the weeks that we love to have. You know, we picked up our winning streak last week after going completely winless the week before.
That was not a fun week the week before.
Not a fun week at all. A lot of losses for the North Stars, but they're picking things back up here.
Not a lot, not even just a lot, but a lot of tough ones and ugly ones too.
Yep, and this draw coming as it will be, I can't see who the Westhill number is, but it will be Putman for the North Stars.
Can't tell if that's a 6 for Winkler. It actually
Winkler.
looks like it is. That ball's into the stick of Westhill athlete Rosenberger. She's going all the way here. Gets by Sam Klein and is going to back things out. Come back towards the middle, spin away to her left, and just take it right back out over to Zerillo.
That is just Westhill's second draw control of the half.
And what's mind-boggling with that, Johnny, is about time possession. Westhill's controlled about 9 minutes so far of this second half, and CNS only around 6. And Westhill's only got 2 draw controls. That says something about that Westhill defense that's been so solid.
Yeah, it really does. And now an 8 meter or a 12, it looks like she will back up a little bit.
both sides of West Hill's team looks to be where if you let them settle and get into what they want to do, that's how they work and that's how they win their games. As their defense settles, that's when they struggle, and especially when CNS scores quickly, that's when I've noticed on CNS's offensive end, they either score quickly or they get a stop quickly. There's no middle ground. West Hill doesn't play defense for very long.
And that one fired past Mira's net. There is a flag on the play, so this will be another 8-meter for Rosenberger. We saw her put the last one away from this exact spot. Will she go for the shot again?
Looks like she won't because she's not necessarily winding up. Let's see what she will do here. Take a few steps inside. That one will be fired. That one's blocked away by Mira. Supposed to go over to CNS.
That was a great save by Nicole Mira there. Perfect and just what the North Stars needed there.
As now Klein gets it up to Putman. Now all the way up to Cicerelli. Gets it over a little closer towards the midfield towards Iannotti. Back over to Putman. Now that's Pauline. Pauline taking things way wide towards the left. Dumps over there to Cicerelli. CNS taking things a little slow here. They might try and stall a little bit of clock and then score and then sit with a little cushion there. 2 goals. Now I'm assuming it'll be about 3 minutes left.
Yeah, there's no need to force a shot for CNS. Just look for the open opportunity. You're not necessarily trying to score quick. You just want to take your time and score in general. There's no rush for them, whereas Westhill, they're going to have to start pressuring a little more because they need to get the ball back.
Maltnow coming back away from X. We got 4:40 left in this second half.
And she backs out completely. And that's what we've talked about a lot with this girls lacrosse ruling, is they can take as much time as they want. They don't have to stay in the box once they enter, so they can back things out, take as much time as they'd like.
Now Maltnow went to the opposite side of the field. She'll take a hit here. It's going to stay with her. She'll get a little reset here, get some space away from the West Hill defense.
She just elects to keep it.
Gets it over to Ella Pauline. She's going to shoot down the middle, go to Iannotti, who had a chance to maybe take a burst of speed inside, but actually just takes it right back out.
Yeah, and that was smart from Tori. No need to force anything there as Molchanoff bobbles it and loses it. But there is a call. It will stay CNS ball. Molchanoff asked the ref right away, and the ref replies with the foul.
That's a very lucky play by the North Stars. That was a turnover, and then Brooke Molchanoff, like you said, saved it from the rest. Very lucky by the North Stars. They live to see another day.
As it looks like Winkler's pretty pissed off about that one. She immediately got pressure on Molchanoff's body, and that's another whistle blown. It's going to be sticking with CNS.
Yeah, and 3:30 left on the clock. Time is ticking away on Westhill, and I'm sure they know it.
As Putman gets it over to Iannotti. Iannotti ducks and dodges. Dodge, duck, dip, dive, dodge.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
As they get Molchanov wide open down the pipe. She's going to fire. That one's a little too long. It looks like Argentiri, they're doing a great job to make the play and get it towards West Hill's possession. And that was not what CNS needed there. As now they've got, West Hill has 3 minutes, and they might just take one shot, go OT.
And Argentiri runs all the way up to the 32 before releasing that ball. Westhill looking to score quick. They do.
They're actually going to call a timeout, which is a smart timeout here. You don't want to let the momentum and the adrenaline get to the girls' heads. As you're down 1 with only 2:47 left to go. And actually, Rob, I want to send it down to our sideline reporter, Drew Madiasic. What are you hearing so far on that sideline, especially with some calls back-to-back there from the official?
I am hearing a lot from West Hill's coach, not only the coach but from the parents. They are livid about that last call down there that gave possession to CNS. The parents are livid. I mean, this is getting a little heated here. There's a timeout on West Hill. It's a 1-goal game, 2:47 left. 1 goal ties it, goes to overtime, but a goal for CNS almost locks it in for a win. I mean, there's a lot happening down here. I'll keep you guys updated, but it's getting really, really heated down here with West Hill and the officials.
Thank you, Drew. And exactly, couldn't have said it better myself. things are definitely getting heated here, and you can see it between the players, especially Westhill, showing more of the frustration as they are just getting super physical on CNS, a little more physical than we've seen all game. They've been a pretty physical team to go against what we think CNS might be the most physical team in the league, or in Section 3.
Yeah, for sure. And CNS really just running away in this second half, leading 7-4 in the second half, I believe. Johnny, I know you have the numbers over there. If you could correct me if I was wrong. But either way, CNS really struggling in that first half, coming back in the second, looking a lot more like themselves. And that's why we see them ahead in this game. But Westhill does have the ball here with 2:47 on the clock. They can take their time. There's no need to rush to try and score a goal. They can take at least 2 minutes of this clock before even putting a shot up.
Yeah, Rob, you were right. It is 7-4 CNS over Westhill. Ionati has scored 3 of those 7 goals for the North Stars. Adding to that is Brooke Molchanoff, Gabby Putman, and Sophia Neshi, and we can't forget about Sam Klein.
As both sides now taking the field after that timeout from Westhill, as I don't really know exactly their plan of attack here. Is you try and score quick, win a draw, or get a turnover, and then get the ball back and score again and win the game? Or do you hold for a minute 30, 2 minutes-ish, and then fire with under a minute to try and just send this game to OT? Because if you go into OT with momentum, like we saw with Sands Boys Lacrosse, scoring 2 or 3 straight to close out that end of regulation and carry momentum into overtime and win that game almost immediately, you could see that happen as well with Westhill. I'm wondering what their plan of attack is here. Argentieri was all the way out at the 45-yard line there until releasing it there and gets it over to Rosenberger. Now go back to Argentieri. They're really working her around as they're actually. It looks like they're going to stall and wait.
Looks like Argentieri's almost at the 50. If she doesn't connect this pass, the North Stars can just go, and that one's bobbled. Rosenberger able to stay with it though.
She's slowly creeping back now as they move more into their offense. We're almost about 2 minutes left. As they get over to Winkler.
And now there's a whistle.
Someone's blown off sides there. Will be on Gabby Putman. As the clock is still ticking, but Westhill will get a little reset here. As Firth switches off for Cicerelli. Winkler coming around X. Spins back to him. The Mason Blakeman move. That one's way wide. Chase for it down the back line. It's going to stick with Westhill.
A little surprised there. I thought Nicole Meir. Oh, no, it is CNS ball. Okay, that's what I thought it would be. It looked like Nicole Meir got out to that one. She gets the get back. And now Brooke Molchanoff runs up the field. She drops a Westhill player. Another Westhill player on the ground. Brooke Molchanoff flying up the field. Now all CNS has to do is take their time for the final minute and 30. That's what we saw Irondequoit do against them here on Saturday. We also saw West Jenny do it a couple weeks before that against CNS, so they'll finally get their turn at running some clock.
Yeah, and it actually was 11-10 on Saturday, your score, when that team lost, basically. When CNS lost the game and Irondequoit stalled for the last 2 or so minutes, is what CNS is a mirror image of what they're doing. Rob, one thing you talk about in a lot of recent broadcasts is deja vu, just repeatment of how games end. I don't know if it's just coincidences or just the way lacrosse is played. A lot of our games end the same way with almost identical scores too.
Now we see Argentieri fully out of her crease. CNS doesn't need to score though. If they do score, it does give them a cushion, but they can run down the clock a little more if they'd like. They could just end this game.
Yeah, and a little insurance goal would not be something to complain about here in this game. As Argentieri forces Putman or Neshi on the baseline there, but it's going to stay with CNS. That actually is Putman, excuse me. That clock is stopped.
And keep in mind, Argentieri does have to go behind Putman because she gave up the foul. So the goalie nowhere near the goal right now.
But CNS isn't even looking to score here. They're just going to pass around for 20 seconds. They get it to Ionati. She's going to come around. If she really wanted to, she can go for her 5th goal of the game, but she's going to play the smart play and just take things way out here. They've got 8 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fans on their feet, and that clock zeroes out. Horn sounds. North Stars close out the close game, 11-10 there. As they beat that team, they move now up to 8-6 on the season, still 3-3 in the Metro, as they are home on Thursday night at 7 o'clock against the West Genesee Wildcats. And we're going to have our silent reporter try and get a hold of Tori Iannotti. Johnny, what did you think about that game?
That was a great game by the North Stars. We saw their offense play flat at the end of the first half, but they really picked it up, scoring 3 straight goals in 3 minutes, 2 of them by Iannotti, to tie the game back up and take the lead. I really have to say, the real star was Sophia Neshi in that middle and early part of the second half. She really did an excellent job of keeping the North Stars in the lead. An amazing job by Tori Iannotti with those great put-ahead goals and iced the game for the North Stars on this Tuesday evening.
Yeah, and a major shout-out to...
Sorry, Rob, I turned you down there because you were talking with Drew over the walkie. So you can reset
all
there.
Good, and a major shout-out to whoever gave that halftime speech for the North Stars, because that is exactly what they needed to get back into this game, because quite frankly that first half just wasn't good enough. They realized it, and they fixed it in the second half and came out stronger than ever, surging ahead of the Westhill Warriors, and they're able to bring this one home 11-10, backed behind a massive night on the draws for Gabby Putman, winning draw after draw. And now Drew Matiasik, our sideline reporter, has grabbed Tori Iannotti. She had 4 goals on the evening and an absolutely dominant performance. Drew, I'd love to hear what you have to ask.
So you had 4 goals tonight. How did you feel out there beating Westhill, who's 10-2 on the season?
I mean, it was electric out there. It was a lot of fun. But, I mean, we definitely could have done better on attack. But I think we pieced it together in the second half for sure. We were a little slow in the first, but we pieced it together, which was fun.
So what did Coach Prentice say in between halves when you guys came out on that attack and scored 2 back-to-back goals?
Nothing. She just told us that we had to get the ball on our fast breaks and beat them down the field, and so that's what we did.
Okay, that's amazing. Not only that, but you had a great performance at the end of the game, keeping that ball from Westhill and preserving that lead. You had a great game. Any last thoughts you want to say?
No, I think we did great, and now it's just time for sectionals and to beat Bevo.
All right, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Drew and Rob. What did I say with about 15 minutes left in that second half? The race to what?
It's the race to 11 goals, I believe, and that's what it was, 11-10 being your final score. Owen, you know how much I hate to say it, but I have to say you're right on this one. Yeah, the North Stars just figuring things out when they needed to, and sometimes it may not be pretty, but a win is a win, and the North Stars get to move their record to 8-6, whereas the Westhill Warriors go to 10-3, ending that 10-game win streak they were on and keeping them 0-3 against the SCAC Metro.
They can't beat They can't beat the Metro.
Can't be the Metro, and quite honestly, I don't expect them to. I mean, AA schools, mostly they're Class A for lacrosse. They're all dominant schools up here. I mean, we say it all the time, one of the best sections in New York. It's got to be hard to play against the top teams in the section, and it shows for Westhill. They gave them a good game, but they're unable to come away with a win at the end of the night.
Back-to-back games here at Michael J. Bragman Stadium. 11-10. North Stars dropping one and winning the other. Is now, John, you got anything last words to add before we close off and get to bed tonight?
Great performance by the North Stars all around to come back in the second half. I cannot wait to see what they will do against the West Genesee Wildcats on Thursday. That should be a great game on Thursday right here on the North Star Network.
Yeah, and like Johnny said, all of us included will be on the call for that game Thursday night, 7 p.m. right here on the North Star Network. Be sure to tune in. From the North Star Network, to my left-hand side is Robert Bateman. All the way to my right is Drew Matiasik, Johnny Lisi, and then Aaron Tarquinio. Huge shout-out to our PA announcer, Daryl White, for always keeping us updated with who exactly grabs that goal and the assist alongside some penalty calls as well. Facility manager, Joe Howler, scoreboard operator, Chris Pilot, and our athletic director, Tim Bednarski from the North Star Network. Have a great night, everyone.